I was a first generation college student, which means my parents didn't go to college. I got accepted to college, and they couldn't give me any advice. They just said, go down there and don't screw it up. That's what they said. You're our only hope. So I go down there, and I'm like, okay. 2 weeks into college, they asked me to pick a major, and they stick this piece of paper in front of me. And I'm saying, pick a major, man. I'm just happy to be here. I don't know. What do I like? I like history. I think that's interesting. I guess I'll circle that. I like political science. I think government is interested. I'm interested in American history. I'll circle that. But I had this voice in the back of my head, and just be real honest with yourself right now. Do you have this voice? And this voice just kept saying to me over and over, Corey, that's wrong. Don't pick that. You go to college to be rich. Anyone here have that voice? Just be honest, the rest of you are lying, right? It's in all of our voices, and it's in our heads, and I'm looking around, and I'm seeing everyone else chasing that, so I didn't know what I was doing, so I followed the crowd. So I became a business major, and there's nothing wrong with that. I just didn't love it. Then I saw my friends going to law school, and I said, that's the ticket, Corey. If you want to be rich, go be a lawyer. Well, I didn't want to be a lawyer. I just thought that's the path that someone needs to take in order to have a job where that person is respected, to have nice stuff, a big car, a big house, renown. So I get into Duke Law School. I still don't want to be a lawyer. I graduate 3 years later, and I owe $120,000 to the government. That's a lot of money, but I don't want to be a lawyer, so I have to get a job. But there's no job you can get at that level other than lawyer where you can pay off those kind of loans. So I'm interviewing at all these different law firms, but I don't really care because I don't want to do that kind of work. And it boils down to me at the end of the day of how much do you pay? So I went to this one law firm, and I'm sitting there at 8 in the morning, and I was going to be there all day. And this woman looks at me, and she goes, do you have any questions for me? Right? I'm going to wrap this up. I'm going to take you to the next guy's office. What do you want to know? And the only thing I could think to say to her was, how much does it pay? Tell me about the benefits. Like, you're not supposed to say that. And I said that in an interview. And she looked at me, and she's just going, did you really ask that? Well, you know what? Corey, we'll pay you $10,000 a month. She's throwing out these numbers. Like, you're going to get $120,000 a year. We're going to give you a $50,000 bonus, and on it goes, right? So I left her office. I went to the bathroom. There it was. But standing in front of the door was this guy in a suit and tie. He worked there. He was an attorney there. And he's just blocking the door. I can't get by him. So what am I going to do, like muscle my way through? So I just stand there and look at him. And he looks at me, and finally he points at me, and he goes, you! He comes behind me and follows me right into the bathroom. Y'all ever had anyone follow you into a bathroom? Anybody ever had that happen to you at a job interview? It's creepy, right? So he's right there. So I just go start washing my hands. I don't know, it felt like 5 minutes. It was probably 10 seconds. Comes up, puts his arm around me. And he goes, your name's Corey, right? He's creepy. He's whispering. So I thought, well, he's whispering. I'll whisper. I went, yeah. He goes, you went to Duke Law School, right? That's you. And I said, yeah. He goes, well, my name's Scott. And I went to law school there, too, and we're supposed to stick together like we're part of the same team. So I'm going to give you a piece of advice, man. He goes, listen very carefully. He leans in, he whispers, and he goes, don't come work here. He goes, this place sucks. He goes, these people are going to hate you, and you'll hate them. You'll keep a suitcase behind your door. You'll never see your family. Every vacation you plan's going to get canceled, man. Just trust me. And this guy's like shaking. And he goes, just run. He's jaded. He's a lone wolf. He's just an angry guy. It's not going to be like that for me. I'm justifying it. Why? Because I just bought a BMW in anticipation of getting this job, right? Those are expensive. They offered me the job a week later, and I said yes. Of course I said yes. After all that, I said yes. Well, 6 months into that job, he was right. I mean, it took a really short period of time for me to figure that out. And I slept in my office for a week. I didn't go home. We were doing this transaction, and we did one of these a month, and you just sleep there, and you just change clothes, and you wake up, and you work. It sucks, right? And I did have a suitcase behind my door, and everything he said was right. So I got to office. It was 1 year after I started. I fulfilled my commitment to her. I went to my desk. I typed up my resignation letter. So I walk in there. I said, hey, Mark. And he goes, hi. What's that in your hand? I said, I'm going to quit. And then I had my whole speech. He jumps out of his chair, and he goes, shut up, right there, shut up. He rips the letter out of my hand, rips it in half, and throws it away. He threw it away, and he goes, Corey, nobody quits this law firm. Everybody hates it here. Everybody wants to quit, but nobody quits. And there's 2 reasons why nobody quits. Do you want to know? And yeah. He goes, number 1, everybody who works here is broke. They're broke. And I said, how could they be broke? These people make millions of dollars a year. And he looked at me like I was the dumbest person in the world. And he goes, Corey, it doesn't matter how much money I pay these people. They always spend more than they make. So piece of advice number 1 from me, if you could find a way to live within your means, like right now and for the rest of your life, and it's important to do that so you can retire and whatever, and so you're fiscally responsible. I totally agree with all that, but that's not why you do it. You live within your means so that you retain the flexibility to quit a job you hate. And that is a powerful thing when you're young, right? And that's why you do it. These lawyers were Rhodes Scholars, Harvard Law School, whatever. They just missed that day in common sense class, so they're stuck in jobs they hate. Can you imagine? 30 years. He said the second reason no one quits is pride. Lawyers are a prideful bunch. Corey, what are they going to do? Quit being lawyers and go wait tables at Chili's? That's what he said to me. It's as if these people had climbed the ladder of success, got to the top, and realized it was leaning against the wrong wall. And so what are they going to do? Climb back down? No, they're at the top. So they just stay. But at that point, I had nothing to lose. So I'm like, screw you, screw this, and I just left. One of the best decisions I ever made. I think you should do the same if you're in a job you hate, but you should have a plan. I had no plan. I just left to have a plan. So I think every one of you in this room should have 5 paths in your head right now that your life could take, right? And just don't say no to stuff. I'd have missed it. I'd have moved on to another law firm, and I'd be a fine lawyer, but I would have missed what I'm here to do. Just keep that in mind. Here's what the world says to you. Be rich, and you will be happy. Well, I was rich, and I wasn't happy. And I knew a lot of rich people, and they weren't happy either. Do you know rich people now? Are they happy? Not always. And if someone's rich and happy, I would argue they're happy for other reasons. And I guess I should just say one more thing to you. I find nothing wrong with any of that. I hope every one of you in this room becomes a millionaire. I do, man. Life's a lot easier if you have $1 million. So make money, man. Money's great. Money becomes bad when it defines you. What are you relying on to make you happy? Is it real or is it fake? So if that stuff is fake, what's real? And I narrowed life down to 3 things that are real. That's it. Number 1, every one of you, we all need peace and contentment in our heart. Peace and contentment. We want to wake up happy. The problem is when Americans are asked, do they wake up happy? They say no. Here's a question that gets asked every year by some magazine. In the morning when you wake up, do you genuinely and consistently wake up happy? If the answer is no, in America, you are chasing something fake. And I would encourage you to figure out what that is, man, and stop it immediately. Is that your life? So busy, it's barren? That's Socrates who said that. We do that, don't we? We don't want to cope with what's going on in our life, so we just busy it up, man. We text, we talk on the phone, we listen to our music, we watch TV, we do everything we can to not think about our life, yet so we fill it, and yet it's barren. The second thing everybody wants, so that's number 1, peace. Number 2 is some really good friends. We're humans, man. We want friends. The problem is the world tells us have many, many friends. It's the Facebook effect, right? Like, I love Facebook, but the button shouldn't be a friend request. It should be an acquaintance at best request. Would you like to be acquaintances at best? Yes. But by saying that, we think, I need 20 friends, man, or I'm not doing it right. I joined a fraternity because I need 40 guys to be my friends. Man, that's wrong. Here's what you need, about 3. If you could just find 3, let me define a friend for you. Someone who rushes into your life while everybody else rushes out. That's a friend, man. How many of those do you have? And at the end of the day, if those 3 guys in your fraternity are in your wedding, you did fraternity right. You did it right. All right, and then last, what everybody wants, number 3, is character, man. We want to be good. We want peace. We want a few friends, and we want to be good. That's it. And if money comes with it, great. If good looks comes with it, great. But what does that mean to be good? It just means we're all born with a conscience. But I want to encourage you, man, get this working right again. It's a garbage in, garbage out system. Here's the problem. It doesn't want to put out garbage. It wants to put out good. But if you feed it garbage, it has no choice. And you wonder why you aren't happy. You're feeding something that wants good garbage, and it has no choice to put out good. So here's the deal. Fix it. By putting in more honesty, more courage, more compassion, more humility, more loyalty. Go down the list, man. Put more of that in and watch what happens. Over time, try it. You're not allowed to call yourself an honest person because you're honest more than you lie. You can't do math like, hey, man, I'm 52% honest, so I'm honest. No, man, you're a liar, right? You're only allowed to call yourself honest is if you ever lied, no one would believe it. Now, if they said, hey, Professor C was really impatient, my students would be like, yeah, that's about right. I'm not allowed to call myself patient, but I can call myself honest because I don't lie anymore. Does this work on you? And what do you need to fix? All right, let's say I got you to this point. You agree with me. You're like, hey, man, I'm in. I agree. How do I do it? How do I start changing it? Because, I got all these other pressures. Like, I always say this about this conference. You are in a room full of winners right now. This is easy. Next week, harder. You got to go home and talk about what you learned, man, harder. Because people are going to look at you and say, man, screw that. Screw your little conference. That's not why I joined this. And that's where it's going to take courage, right? You're going to have honest conversations. It's easy in a room full of winners. So let me give you a little tip. You got to get your priorities straight. And I would start doing that right now. Here's your homework, right? You go home. Do this tonight. Do this tomorrow. Take a piece of paper. Draw a line right down the middle. On the left side, you draw a heart. On the right side, you draw a stick figure. That's you. Underneath that heart, you list out 1 through 10. There's 10 blanks. And you say, these are my priorities as my heart desires them. You got to promise me you'll stop at 10. We cannot prioritize 30 things anymore. No. Declutter. On the right-hand side, on that picture of you, you have 10 blanks. And these are my priorities as I actually live my life. Now, you might be saying, well, man, what should I put on the left? Well, like I said, we all kind of put the same stuff. Like, let me see if I can read your mind. You're probably thinking, hey, Corey, family, am I right? Friends, school, work. Some of you are religious, and you're thinking about God, am I right? Where we differ are the margins. And so some of you will put rock climbing, and some of you will put music, and I don't care. It's your list. You just get 10, okay? So that's what your heart wants on the left. And on the right-hand side, it's going to be the same words in different order. That's the problem, right? So you can take a pen, you can connect similar terms with a line. So take family to family, work to work, school to school, health to health, right? Take the thing, set it on your fridge, step back and look. And do you have a lot of horizontally parallel lines like this? Or is your chart a total mess? And I promise you, beyond a reasonable doubt, I could tell you whether you were happy or not just by looking at your piece of paper, never even having to see you. I would just look for this. Now, that's easy enough. Let me tell you how to structure that list. And I've learned this after talking to 1 million people. I've literally spoken to 1 million people. And here's what I know for absolute certainty. School and work should never come first. Never. That's not what people want, man. The top 3 spots, I think, are reserved for human beings. That's just what people have told me all around the country, all around the world. Man, Corey, I want family first. I'm a religious guy, whatever. I want that first. But the problem is in our life, man, we're told, put school first. Put work first. But your heart doesn't want that. So your disconnect from heart to life kills you. It kills your happiness. Now, you're probably getting in your head right where I'm going now is, hey, Corey, man, if I do what you say, that sounds cool, man, but it'll cost me. It's going to cost you. It's going to cost you. It's cost me money. It's cost me relationships at work, right? Like, do you think the dean of my school likes that at 6 o'clock or whatever every night I go home and have dinner with my kids? He hates that about me. If there's a meeting and it conflicts with a swimming lesson or something, I miss the meeting. And they hate me for that. But in life, you choose. Am I ever going to teach at Harvard? Probably not. Am I ever going to be professor of the year? Probably not. I'm not even nominated for that stuff, right? But I'm the happiest married man at that whole school, guys. I promise. And I'm the best dad at that whole school. Well, it's higher on my list. Now, I work really hard. It just comes forth. It gets my 4th best energy. I can't tell you how many times I go home, have dinner with everybody, put all the girls to sleep, and work until 2. I do that all the time. But my family's going to get my 1st, 2nd best energy, 3rd, right? My job's going to get my 4th. Last point on this. Priorities are not time spent. It's just what comes first. So that should be a huge relief to you, right? You're going to work more than you're maybe going to be home. I don't care. It's just what are you putting first? So let's say you want to put your family first, but you say, hey, man, school's hard. I'm not as smart as all these other guys. You ever said that to yourself? I said that every day in college. So yeah, you got to go to the library. So here's what you do. First thing in the morning when you wake up, do this tomorrow. Call your dad. I always put dads first. I'm biased. Hey, Dad, I love you. How's it going? Well, hey, here's what I'm studying this semester, and these are the classes that I'm in. This is what I think I want to do with my life. How are you? Okay, I can't wait to see you. Love you. Click. That's done. Hey, Mom, how's it going? Here's what I'm doing. How are you? I can't wait to see you. I love you. Click. Now go to the library. I mean, go to the library for 8 hours. I couldn't care less. You've put first things first. If you have a chance to go home on a weekend and that matters to you, go. Skip the party. Go. Why? It's not Corey telling you that. It's your heart telling you that. It's your piece of paper, your homework assignment telling you. It's not me. I'm just translating your heart for you. At the end of the day, though, if you can do that, you will find the peace. All right, in the little time I have left, I'm going to give you a little piece of advice. What can you do today? What can you start? Look, man, if you want to seek some peace, that's going to take time. If you want to get your priorities straight, that could take a year. If you want some really good friends, that might take 4 years. And if you want to be a good person, well, it's a lifelong thing. What can you do right now? And I stole this from Jimmy Valvano. I like these kind of athletes, motivational speaker types, and he's dying of cancer, and he gives this speech. And he says, every day, every person should do 3 things. They should think, they should laugh, they should have their emotions stirred. Does that describe your life? Do you think every day? Do you think about important things? Again, Socrates says, wisdom begins in wonder. Man, if you don't wonder about stuff, you'll never become wise. But what is our country missing more than anything? Wisdom. We need wisdom, man. We sit there and we look at politics, we look at business, we look at whatever, and these people are lacking wisdom, right? Well, they're not wondering about important stuff. The world is run by thinkers. You got to find someone in your life who will think with you. Make that promise to me, man. You're going to find somebody. The best part of law school to me was not the professors. They were average. It was after class, 4 or 5 hours a night talking about law with my friends. That's all we did, man. That's all we did, and that was just riveting to me. Finally, I got to think about something. I found some people in my life who cared about something. Okay, so I kind of want to conclude with the why. Why? 3 reasons. Number 1, I do believe that everyone in this room's goal in life is to be happy. Do you agree? I mean, what's your ultimate goal? Why do people work? Because it's fulfilling, and being fulfilled makes us happy. I mean, right? Why do people get married? Because it makes them happy. Why do people have kids? Why do people travel? Why do people go to parties? It's so that they're happy. But you're not happy so that anything else happens. It's the end. It's the ultimate. You're not happy so that's your goal. I believe it's impossible for a person to be truly, authentically happy if they are unethical even some of the time. If they chase fake stuff even some of the time, they'll never be happy. Kant, famous philosopher, I'm going to paraphrase. If you don't like the way something's going in your world, you have a moral obligation to help change it. There we are. We can't like the way stuff's going in our world. We all have a moral obligation to help change it. And the last thing I want to reference from that movie is this. He says, you got to look at the guy next to you. Look him in the eyes and know that that guy is going to be there for you. Could you say that about the guys in your chapter? Can you look them in the eyes and know that they believe what you believe? And you got to have that. At a minimum, you got to have that on your executive team, right? You got to be able to sacrifice for each other. Look a guy in the eye and be like, look, man, we're doing this for the right reasons. For the right reason. We've lost that completely. Look them in the eyes. And you know what? Let's say your answer to that is no. I can't, Corey. Cool. Well, in recruitment, start now. Next recruitment class, look them in the eyes. And the first question you ask them is this, like, hey, man, you want to be in this fraternity? Define character for me. I don't care how he answers. I just want to see the look in his eye when you ask him the question. If he looks like he cares, keep talking to him. If he looks like that's a stupid question, send him down the street to the next house. We got to recruit different. Right? The questions we ask have to be different. It all has to be a little bit different. But you know what, guys? None of this is rocket science. I'm not telling you one thing here that you couldn't figure out on your own. I'm just translating it, right? And you know the last part about it is it's free. You just be a better person and stuff will work out better. So either you heal as a team or you die as individuals. And I would hope the team you choose is a team that's based on values. Because I know this organization is, but that doesn't mean your little group is, and it needs to be. And if that happens, that's the only way. I'll put $1 million on it. The only way this could change is if values start to lead. Anything else, it's fake fuel, and it won't work, and the tidal wave will overwhelm you. But if all of a sudden values take over, it has a chance. I'm not saying it'll happen. I'm saying it has a chance. All right, gentlemen? Thank you very much. This was an honor for me. God bless you. God bless you. Thank you.